Welcome, brave souls, to our scary stories. Delve into the depths of the unknown, the unsettling, and the unexplained. Each episode brings you tales that will crawl under your skin, making you question what's real and what's mere fantasy. Tonight, we journey to a place where time slips away and reality becomes a haunting reflection of our deepest fears. So, lock your doors, dim the lights, and let the shadows of our tales envelop you. The moon hung low in the twilight sky, casting an eerie silver glow over the winding road. Misty clouds, resembling tendrils of ghostly fingers, swirled around the towering pine trees that lined the path. Alex, shivering from the cold in his drenched clothes, strained his eyes against the encroaching darkness, searching for shelter. A fierce wind howled through the trees, sending shivers down his spine and making the leaves rustle like whispered secrets. The scent of wet earth mixed with the fresh pine was overpowering, creating a feeling of being ensnared within nature's embrace. Suddenly, ahead, a soft golden glow broke through the tree line. The sight of it filled him with hope, a beacon against the oppressive night. Drawing closer, he could make out the structure, a charming old inn, its time-worn wooden boards looking like they held centuries of stories within. Warm light poured from its windows, casting inviting shadows on the cobblestone path that led to its arched entrance. The sign above the door, swaying gently in the breeze, read, "The Inn at World's End." As Alex reached the door, it creaked open slightly. He hesitated for a moment but then stepped in, grateful for the respite from the storm outside. The main hall was bathed in a soft amber light, illuminating an old, ornate chandelier overhead. It held candles that flickered, casting dancing shadows on the patterned wallpaper. The smell of burning wood wafted from an ancient fireplace, where embers glowed warmly, and a soft, melodious tune played from a gramophone in the corner, its needle scratching faintly with each rotation. "Ah, a new guest," a soft voice called out. Alex turned to see a woman, Mara, with raven-black hair cascading down her back. Her eyes, piercing blue, seemed to hold the depth of the vast ocean. She wore a vintage dress, the kind one would see in period dramas, and it swished softly as she moved towards him. "Lost your way in the storm?" she inquired, her voice dripping with a mix of concern and intrigue. "Yeah, I didn't expect it to get this bad. Do you have a room available?" Alex responded, shaking off the rainwater from his jacket. "Of course, you're always welcome here," she said with a knowing smile, handing him a brass key with the number 13 etched into it. The chatter from a few guests at the far end of the room caught his attention. There sat an elderly man with spectacles, dressed in a World War II uniform, sharing tales of his exploits. Beside him, a young couple looked engrossed in their own conversation, their clothes straight out of the 1970s. Their laughter echoed in the hall, sounding strangely distant, as if carried by the wind from another time. "Enjoy your stay, Alex," Mara whispered, her voice suddenly close to his ear, though he never saw her approach. He jumped slightly, the proximity of her words causing his heart to race. "How do you know my name?" he asked, a hint of fear seeping into his voice. "Here, we know all our guests," she replied, her eyes twinkling mysteriously. "It's part of the charm." As Alex made his way to his room, the sounds of the inn behind him and the storm outside created a symphony of nature and nostalgia. Little did he know, this night would change his life forever. The corridor leading to Alex's room was long and dimly lit, its wooden floorboards creaking softly underfoot. On either side of the hall, faded paintings adorned the walls. Each depicted scenes of the inn in various stages of its existence, from its inception as a humble cabin to its grand transformation over the decades. The past seemed to echo through the corridor, every footstep reminding Alex of the countless travelers who'd walked this path before him. The scent of aged cedar enveloped the space, mingling with the faint aroma of lavender, making the air heavy with memories. The candle sconces lining the walls flickered, casting elongated, dancing shadows that seemed to follow Alex's every move. Room 13 was at the very end of the hall. The door, much older than the rest, bore the emblem of a raven perched atop a crescent moon. Turning the brass key in the lock, Alex was met with a gentle resistance before the door relented, revealing a room steeped in a warm golden hue. The room was spacious, furnished with antiques that whispered tales of eras long gone. An intricately carved four-poster bed sat against one wall, its deep red velvet canopy giving it an aura of regality. Opposite the bed, a grand fireplace stood, its hearth alive with flames that crackled and writhed, filling the room with a comforting warmth. Nearby, an old writing desk rested, atop which lay a leather-bound guest book. Its pages, yellowed with age, held the names and messages of many who had occupied this room before. Drawn to the windows, Alex approached and pulled back the heavy, moth-eaten drapes. Instead of the expected view of the storm-laden night, he was met with a sight that froze him in place, an abyss, vast and infinite. Stars twinkled far below, illuminating the void with an ethereal light, creating an illusion of endless depth. But it wasn't just the sight that unsettled him, it was the sounds. Distant whispers wafted up from the abyss, voices layered upon voices, some desperate, others melancholic, all melding into an eerie lullaby that seemed to beckon him closer. Shaking his head in disbelief, Alex moved to the room's second window, hoping for a different view. Yet, again, the abyss met his gaze, its haunting beauty intertwined with an unmistakable sense of foreboding. Feeling a rush of dizziness, he retreated and sat heavily on the edge of the bed, trying to comprehend the impossibility of his surroundings. There was a soft knock on the door. Before he could answer, it swung open, revealing Mara. She held a silver tray bearing a cup of steaming tea. "I thought you might need this," she murmured, her eyes reflecting the flames from the fireplace. "It's a blend we serve to our guests. Helps them settle in." Gratefully accepting the tea, Alex took a sip, letting the warm, spiced liquid soothe his frayed nerves. He met Mara's gaze, seeking answers. "Every room here has its mysteries," she began, her voice soft and melodic. "But remember, Alex, sometimes it's the mysteries that choose us, and not the other way around." With that, she turned and departed, leaving Alex alone with the mesmerizing, yet terrifying abyss just beyond his window. Despite the allure of the flames and the comfort of the bed, sleep remained elusive for Alex. Each time he closed his eyes, the vision of the abyss and its mesmerizing depth beckoned him. Turning his back to the window, he tried to focus on the crackling of the fire and the rustling of the trees he faintly heard from outside. But the abyss would not be ignored. Its distant whispers grew louder, clearer, weaving into discernible voices. They seemed to call out, each voice telling its own tale of sorrow, love, and loss. Curiosity getting the better of him, Alex inched closer to the window. One voice, in particular, caught his attention, that of a woman, her words laden with sadness. "I've waited, yearning for a return that never came. Do you hear me, traveler?" Taken aback, Alex responded hesitantly, "I hear you. Who are you?" The voice sighed, its sorrow almost tangible. "I am Lydia, a former guest of this inn, from a time long before yours. I, too, was entrapped by the allure of this place and the abyss." His heartbeat quickened. "Why are you still here? What does this abyss represent?" Lydia's voice grew softer, tinged with a haunting regret. "This abyss is not just a void, traveler. It's a repository of memories, emotions, and souls that have passed through the inn. Some, like me, are drawn into its depths, forever to become a part of its tapestry." Feeling a shiver down his spine, Alex pondered her words. "But why? What binds you to this place?" "The inn," Lydia murmured, "is a bridge between realms. Time here is fluid. A night can span centuries. Many of us became ensnared by its charm, trapped in a moment that never ends." The implication of her words weighed heavily on Alex. He thought of the elderly man in the uniform, the couple from the 72nds, and the myriad names in the guest book. Were they all ensnared, like Lydia? A sudden gust of wind caused the flames in the fireplace to flicker. Lydia's voice faded, replaced by a chorus of others, all murmuring their tales of woe. Drawing the curtains closed with a swift motion, Alex tried to shut out the abyss and its haunting tales. He felt an urgent need to leave, to escape this place and its timeless grip. But as the hours passed and dawn approached, a realization settled within him. Escaping the inn at World's End would not be as simple as walking out its front door. Morning light filtered through the gaps in the heavy curtains, casting muted golden beams across the room. Alex, having managed only a few restless hours of sleep, stirred with determination. He would confront Mara, seek answers, and find a way out of this perplexing inn. Slipping on his shoes and jacket, he opened the door to the corridor. It appeared different in the light of day, the shadows from the night before now seeming more benign. Yet, the faint scent of aged wood and lingering memories persisted, guiding him back to the inn's main hall. As Alex descended the staircase, he noticed the gathering of guests in the lounge area. The elderly soldier, Frederick, sat in a plush armchair, his uniform neatly pressed, engrossed in a book that looked like a war journal. The couple, Jane and Martin, sat close together on a Victorian-era love seat, Martin's arm protectively around Jane. They all turned their gaze to Alex as he approached, their eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and caution. "Morning," Alex greeted, trying to sound casual. Frederick looked up, his face creased with age and experience. "Morning, young man. Did you find sleep well?" Alex hesitated, glancing briefly at the windows which, even in daylight, showed nothing but the abyss. "It's been an unusual stay." Jane offered a sympathetic smile. "We've all had our first nights here, haven't we?" she said, her voice soft and melodic. "It's a lot to take in." Alex took a deep breath, gathering his thoughts. "How long have you all been here?" he asked, his voice edged with desperation. Martin, his gaze steady, replied, "Time works differently in this place. We've seen many sunrises and sunsets, yet it feels like we arrived only yesterday." Frederick nodded in agreement. "It's easy to lose track, but in the end, it doesn't matter. The inn has its way of keeping us." Alex felt a pit forming in his stomach. "There must be a way out," he asserted. A silence settled over the room, each guest exchanging knowing glances. It was then that Mara entered the room, her presence commanding attention. "Ah, our newest guest has questions," she remarked, her tone gentle yet firm. "The inn at World's End is not just a place to rest. It's a sanctum, a refuge. Those who find their way here are often seeking something, even if they don't realize it." Alex felt a flare of frustration. "I just wanted shelter from the storm," he retorted. Mara smiled, her eyes twinkling with a hint of mischief. "Did you? Or were you running from something, hoping to find answers or solace?" Alex faltered, memories of the world outside, the troubles and decisions he was evading, flooding back. "Every soul here has a story, Alex," Mara continued. "And in time, you'll come to understand yours and the role this inn plays in it." Jane reached out, placing a comforting hand on Alex's arm. "It's overwhelming, we know, but you're not alone." Alex took a moment, absorbing the weight of it all. If he was to find a way out, he realized he first needed to understand the very essence of the inn at World's End. And the key to that understanding lay with the guests and their stories. The day progressed, the light outside remaining constant. The inn's timelessness was unsettling, but Alex tried to shake off the unease. He sat with the guests, each one eager to share their tale, their connection to the inn. Through their stories, Alex hoped to unravel the secrets of the inn at World's End. Jane began, her fingers intertwined with Martin's. "We were on our honeymoon, traveling the country. Our car broke down near this inn during a heavy downpour." She looked at Martin, love evident in her eyes. "We thought it was fate leading us to the most romantic shelter." Martin smiled, continuing, "But when the storm subsided, our car was gone, swallowed by the abyss. We quickly realized this place wasn't ordinary. But, strangely, we found solace here in this suspended reality. Our love remains evergreen." Frederick adjusted his glasses, clearing his throat. "I was returning from a war, victorious yet burdened by loss. This inn appeared out of nowhere, promising peace. It was both my escape and my prison." He touched the medals on his chest, looking into the distance. "In the outside world, my loved ones aged and moved on, but in here, I remained the same." Alex absorbed their stories, sensing a pattern. "Each of you came here seeking something, love, escape, solace, and this inn gave it to you. But in return, it took something too." Mara, observing from a distance, approached the group. "Alex, this inn is ancient, existing between time and space. Souls are drawn to it, like moths to a flame. It provides, but it also binds." Alex met her gaze. "And what did it provide you, Mara?" She hesitated momentarily, then replied, "Purpose. A role. I was lost, wandering, when the inn found me. It became my charge, my responsibility. I am its keeper." Alex leaned in, "So, you must know the way out." Mara's expression softened. "Escape is not as simple as finding a door. The inn's bond is deeper, tied to desires, regrets, and unfulfilled dreams. To leave, one must confront these anchors." Taking in her words, Alex pondered his own reasons for seeking shelter, the troubles he was running from. Perhaps confronting his past was the key to his freedom. Determined, he resolved to dive deep into his memories and face what held him to the inn at World's End. That evening, as the ever-present gloaming outside hinted at twilight without ever truly reaching night, Alex retreated to his room. The inn's walls seemed to breathe, resonating with centuries of memories, both those of the structure itself and the countless souls that had sought refuge within its embrace. Closing his eyes, Alex tried to transport himself back to the days before his arrival at the inn. Murky images began to surface, like faded photographs brought into focus. There was his childhood home, the laughter of his younger sister echoing in the backyard. Then, a jump forward in time, heated arguments, unspoken words, feelings of guilt and regret. He saw himself at a crossroads, having just received news of his sister's tragic accident. The weight of not having mended their frayed bond tormented him, driving him to escape the reminders of his neglect. The inn had appeared, promising a respite. But now he understood that by running from his pain, he had imprisoned himself in a different kind of torment. A soft knock jolted him back to the present. Opening the door, he found Frederick, his face etched with concern. "I sensed your turmoil," the old soldier began. "In this place, emotions have a way of becoming tangible." Alex nodded. "I saw moments from my past. The reason I came here, running from my guilt." Frederick sighed. "We've all been running from something. But confronting it, acknowledging it, that's the first step towards release." Martin and Jane joined them, their empathetic gazes suggesting they too had felt the waves of Alex's introspection. Jane whispered, "The inn has a way of amplifying our deepest emotions. We've all experienced it." Martin added, "It's the nature of this place. While it provides solace, it also challenges us to face our demons." Feeling both vulnerable and bolstered by their shared experiences, Alex whispered, "How did you all manage to accept and move forward?" Frederick, looking at his medals, responded, "It's a journey. Some days, the weight is lighter, on others, it's crushing. But remember, acceptance doesn't mean forgetting or forgiving oneself. It means understanding and learning to live with our choices." The bond among them strengthened, the four souls connected by their shared struggles. With renewed purpose, Alex decided he would confront his past head-on, hoping to find the liberation he so desperately sought. Guided by the wisdom of the inn's denizens, Alex sought Mara. Her insights into the inn's secrets, her role as its keeper, had sown the seeds of understanding in Alex's mind. He now sought her guidance to truly grasp the depths of what bound him here, and how he might break free. Finding her in the main hall, lit by the glow of countless candles whose flames flickered as if in a dance, he approached. The atmosphere was thick, the air laden with memories and moments lost in time. "Mara," he began, his voice echoing slightly in the vastness of the room, "I need to understand. To truly confront my past and find a way out." She regarded him with ageless eyes, her face reflecting a wisdom beyond her years. "You've started to see, to feel. But understanding the bond, the true nature of this place, requires a deeper dive." "How?" Alex inquired. Mara gestured to a grand mirror at the end of the hall, ornate and framed in what looked like shimmering silver and gold. "This mirror has been here as long as the inn. It reflects not just the outer self, but the depths of one's soul. Face it and confront the essence of your regrets." Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped towards the mirror. Instead of his reflection, it unveiled a series of moving images. He saw himself as a child, playing and laughing with his sister. Their bond unbreakable. The joys of shared secrets, the pains of growing up, their fights, their reconciliations. Then the tone shifted. Their adult lives, the increasing distance, unresolved arguments, harsh words that lingered in the air, the silence that grew between them. Until the fateful day, the news of her accident, the crushing weight of unsaid words, the regret. Tears streamed down his face as he witnessed the tapestry of their relationship. The good, the bad, the moments lost, the words unsaid. Feeling a hand on his shoulder, he turned to find Mara, her expression compassionate. "To be free, you must forgive, not just her or the world, but yourself." Alex nodded, the weight of realization pressing down on him. Acceptance, forgiveness, and understanding were the keys to breaking the chains that held him. And with that insight, he felt the inn's grip on him begin to loosen. With dawn's light piercing through the inn's windows, a phenomenon Alex had not yet witnessed, he felt a surge of energy. The inn seemed different, less foreboding, as if it had loosened its timeless grip. Walking through the hallways, he came upon Frederick, Jane, and Martin, who appeared to be in a deep conversation. As he approached, their faces revealed a blend of surprise and hope. "You've changed," Frederick remarked, pointing to the window. "The light, it's because of you. You've found your way." Martin nodded. Your journey has affected the inn. It thrives on the energy of its inhabitants. Your liberation has shifted its balance. Jane added, we all arrived at different times, each bound by our own chains. But seeing you, feeling this change, gives us hope that perhaps our time too will come. Mara joined them, her presence commanding attention. Alex, your breakthrough, your journey of acceptance and forgiveness, has indeed stirred the inn. While each soul's bond to this place is unique, a breakthrough like yours sends ripples, offering a glimmer of release to others. I wish there was a way to free you all, Alex murmured. Mara smiled gently. Time here is fluid, non-linear. Your journey may help set events into motion for others. They must each find their own path, just as you did. Reaching the main entrance, the door creaked open for the first time since Alex's arrival, revealing a world that seemed brighter, more vibrant. Before departing, he turned to Mara. Will I ever see this place again? Mara's eyes twinkled. The inn at World's End exists on the fringes of reality, a refuge for wandering souls. But having broken free, your path will lead elsewhere, to new horizons. Taking a deep breath, filled with a mix of relief and gratitude, Alex stepped outside. The world beckoned, promising a future of understanding and healing. The inn, with its endless corridors and timeless essence, faded behind him, but its lessons would remain etched in his soul forever. And so, our tale comes to its chilling close. But remember, listeners, the stories we share are but whispers in the vast darkness of our universe. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and always be wary of the world's lurking mysteries. Until next time, sleep tight, if you dare. This is our Scary Stories signing off for tonight.